Good afternoon. I think my definition of leadership has grown definitely since the beginning of the year. When I thought of a leader, I just thought of somebody that, does things and you kind of just follow by example. And what I've learned through the semester or the mini semester so far is that a leader comes and does more than just giving directions and you follow. What I did learn, that was like more of a manager where they kind of just give requests and expect you to do things, as needed. And what I've learned is that a leader is more of somebody that leads by example. They have a vision, they have influence, they have decision making, they hold you accountable, they empower you. And what I think of is like my principal. I think I've talked about her quite a bit. And I think about the vision that she has for our school. She wants us to achieve the highest possible score for a rating as a school, and she holds us accountable to that. And not only does she hold us accountable, she also holds the students accountable, and she is big on getting buy-in from us, the staff, and from the kids, and also from the parents. Like I've talked about before, a good leader gets buy-in not just from the staff, but gets buy-in from everyone that makes up an organization. So everyone that makes up my organization that I work at is the school, which is the staff, the students, the paras, and the parents. And I think my principal as a leader is very good about getting buy-in from everybody. And like I just mentioned, is good about getting accountability too, no matter how tough it may be for us to, hold each other accountable and hold our students accountable. She strives to make sure that we're accountable for everybody and anybody that is in our organization. And I think she also makes it known the vision, and she sets that vision at the beginning of the year and she tells us. And then she provides us the steps and resources needed to make, that vision happen. And that's where the buy-in comes in. You also get the buy-in that helps with the vision. And I also think she has good influence. She's able to influence us to do things and, willingly do things, because not everybody's always willingly going to do things. And I think that, is comes with the buy-in. When you're able to get your employees or your staff, your teachers to buy in, that helps you influence them to do these things or try these things. I wouldn't say she's sometimes she's a charismatic leader. I will say that she can lead. She's just got that tendency. But I definitely do think she's a good example of a good leader. And I haven't had too many principals. I've only had like two. But the ones that I have, the difference between the one I have now and the last one I have, I think this principal currently brings a vision and brings, expectations to us and provides us with the resources needed to get the job done. If I could be a leader, I think I would choose to be a leader just like her. And I would say sometimes I'm a leader like that in my classroom, not all the time. But when it comes to my students, I do try to provide them the vision at the beginning of the year, what we're going to do, how we're going to pass those state assessments, give them the resources needed to pass those assessments at the end of the year, and also try to influence them. And that comes with the student buy-in. And my influence is not as probably difficult, to get the kids to do things, because most of them willingly want to do things for me. But at the end of the day, I still got to get some sort of buy-in from the kids and even sometimes their parents to help us reach those goals. And I also need accountability too from the parents and the kids. And sometimes that's hard to come by because the kids don't understand what it means to be held accountable for something because they're still a little younger. They don't understand that. But I do think in my role leading my students, I do take some of the things that I see in my principal and her leadership styles and her ability to lead people and try to implement those into my classroom and my leadership style with my students to help my students become most successful. Because like I mentioned earlier, I really didn't know too much about a leader. I thought of it more as like somebody that leads by example. Somebody does this, so that's what I want to do. But it's more than just that simple definition. It is somebody that can influence you, that has a vision, that holds people accountable, empowers you, is able to make good decisions and be open to decisions made from the group, not just by themselves. So I think that's what makes a good leader. And I feel like I said, my principal is a very good leader, and I try to hone in on some of those skills and leadership traits that she has and bring them into my classroom. And I also think for me, being a teacher and, having to lead people at my campus eventually, because I am a little more veteran, it is good to have taken a class like this to understand what it means to be a leader, because there's not just a one size fit all type of leader or leadership style. I think there's more than just one, and it depends on what type of person you are and what characteristics you have as a person that make you the type of leader that you are. But I think overall you have to be open-minded, you have to be have a vision, you have to be empowering, and you have to be influential to be a great leader in any organization, whether it be a school or a business. You have to have those traits and characteristics to make a good leader. So that's kind of what I took away from this semester, and I wish it was longer because I do enjoy learning about leadership, because that, I see that as something that could be in my future down the road. So it was definitely beneficial for me in my workplace and in moving forward in my career.